Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the person you trusted most has stolen everything from your life. The home you built, the savings you worked years to earn, even the family you thought you could count on, all gone. Now imagine facing that person again in a courtroom, the very room where your life will be judged. And to make it worse, the judge presiding over your fate is someone who knows both of you and knows exactly what's at stake. This isn't just a story about divorce or betrayal. It's about power, deception, and the shocking twists that unfold when love turns into a weapon. When Jason Walker walked into that courtroom, he didn't just face his ex. He faced the harsh reality of how quickly life can unravel, and how one person's greed can threaten everything you hold dear. Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you questioning who you can really trust. Jason Walker had always believed in building a life the right way. Hard work, honesty, and loyalty. He was a man who cherished his family, spent weekends fixing the old family car with his kids, and invested every ounce of energy into making his house a home. But life has a way of testing even the strongest foundations. Maria, the woman he once loved more than anything, had slowly begun to drift away. At first, it was small things, late nights at work, unexplained phone calls, but Jason never suspected the full extent of her plans. By the time he realized what was happening, it was too late. Maria had taken advantage of his trust, quietly siphoning off savings, secretly transferring ownership of their home, and slowly erasing his presence from the life they had built together. Jason was left with nothing but a sense of disbelief. How could someone he loved, someone he shared his deepest hopes and dreams with, betray him so completely? The bills, the house, the life he fought for, it all seemed to vanish overnight. But betrayal isn't always about what you lose. It's about how it confronts you. And Jason wasn't done fighting. He knew the law could help him reclaim what was rightfully his. But stepping into that courtroom would be stepping into a battlefield where emotions run high and the rules aren't always fair. As he prepared to face Maria, Jason couldn't shake the gnawing question. Could he confront her without letting his anger destroy him? Could justice ever feel like revenge? The courtroom was quiet, too quiet, as Jason stepped through the doors. Every step echoed against the polished floors, a reminder that he was not just walking into a room, he was stepping into a battlefield. Across the room, Maria sat with a calm, almost smug expression. The woman who had once whispered promises of forever now looked like an enemy who had taken everything from him and enjoyed every second of it. Jason's lawyer, a sharp and determined woman named Rebecca, guided him to his seat. Her eyes met his for a brief moment, conveying confidence and warning at the same time. Stay focused. Don't let her get inside your head. The judge entered, and the gavel hit with a crisp thud that seemed to vibrate through Jason's chest. Maria's attorney rose first, speaking with a polished ease that made every word sound rehearsed. Your Honor, my client acted within her rights, the lawyer said, eyes flicking to Jason. Everything that was done was legal. Any claims from Mr. Walker are baseless and without merit. Jason gritted his teeth. Every fiber of his being wanted to jump up, to shout that she had stolen from him, lied to him, manipulated him. But he held himself back. He remembered Rebecca's warning. Control your anger. Let the truth speak louder than your rage. The tension was palpable. The courtroom seemed to shrink, every whisper of movement magnified. Jason watched as Maria's smirk never faltered, her eyes cold and unreadable. Memories flooded him. How she had signed papers behind his back, how she had turned friends and family against him, how she had made sure his life unraveled while she smiled and walked away with everything. When it was his turn, Jason stood slowly, letting the silence in the courtroom press against him. His voice was steady but edged with restrained fury. I trusted someone I loved. I believed in fairness, in honesty, in us. But the reality is I was betrayed. Not just by someone I loved, but by a system that allowed it. Gasps ran through the room. Maria's face didn't change, but a flicker of tension crossed her lips. For the first time, Jason saw that perhaps she wasn't invincible. Witness after witness was called. Evidence of financial manipulation, forged documents, and deceit surfaced. Jason's lawyer skillfully laid out every detail, every proof of betrayal, painting a picture of a woman who had systematically taken his life from him while hiding behind a mask of innocence. Maria's lawyer tried to counter, questioning every claim, twisting words, and attacking Jason's character. But each attack only strengthened his resolve. Jason didn't just want justice, he wanted the truth to be seen, undeniable, and in full view. The turning point came when Rebecca presented a crucial piece of evidence, a series of emails showing Maria planning the entire scheme months before any confrontation, proving intent, premeditation, and deception. The courtroom buzzed with murmurs, eyes shifting between Jason and Maria. For the first time, she looked genuinely unsettled. Jason realized the power of restraint and preparation. Anger might have destroyed him, but patience and the cold weight of evidence were breaking her facade. The tide was turning, but the battle was far from over. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath. Jason sat rigid, heart pounding, as the final witnesses were dismissed. Maria's smug confidence was gone, replaced by a tight-lipped, calculating stare. She had always thought she could outmaneuver him, but the evidence was too damning, too clear. The judge's gaze swept the room, piercing and impartial, but there was an unmistakable gravity in the air. This wasn't just a trial of money or property. It was a trial of betrayal, of trust shattered, of a life taken and rebuilt in secrecy. Maria's attorney rose, trying one last time to sway the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant may feel wronged, but feelings do not equal facts. My client followed the law in every action she took. Any accusations are hearsay and conjecture. Jason's jaw tightened. He had rehearsed his moment, imagined the confrontation 100 times. But now, hearing her lie with such cold calculation, he felt something inside snap. Rebecca stood, calm but commanding, and addressed the jury with the weight of undeniable truth. This isn't conjecture. These are emails, bank statements, witness testimonies, evidence showing intent, planning, and betrayal. Mr. Walker did not wake up one day and suddenly claim losses. He was robbed, systematically and deliberately, by someone he trusted most. She paused, letting the words sink in. Every eye in the courtroom was locked on Jason and Maria. He felt the power shift subtly, but unmistakably. Then came the moment the story would pivot forever. The judge leaned forward, voice firm and deliberate. Ms. Sullivan, do you have anything to say before the jury begins deliberation? Maria's face faltered. For the first time, the confident mask cracked. I just want to say, it's complicated. I didn't mean for things to go this far. Her words sounded hollow, desperate, and meaningless against the mountain of evidence against her. Jason felt a surge of vindication, tempered with a bitter ache. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice. The years of manipulation, the sleepless nights, the sense of helplessness. They had led to this moment. The jury left to deliberate. Jason sat back, body trembling, mind racing. The seconds stretched into what felt like hours. Every tick of the clock echoed in his skull, every whisper in the hallway a hammer pounding on his nerves. And then, finally, the courtroom doors opened. The jury returned, faces unreadable, but eyes flicking between him and Maria with unspoken weight. The four persons stood, hands shaking slightly, and read the verdict. We, the jury, find in favor of Mr. Walker on all counts. Ms. Sullivan is ordered to return all assets wrongfully taken, and compensation is granted for damages caused by her actions. The words hit like a thunderclap. Gasps rippled through the room. Maria's face went pale, lips parting in disbelief. Jason felt a strange mixture of relief, triumph, and exhaustion wash over him. He had won, but it wasn't just about winning money or property. It was about reclaiming his life, his dignity, and the truth. As the judge banged the gavel, Jason realized this victory wasn't just personal. It was a warning. Betrayal has consequences. Deception can be exposed, and even the most carefully constructed lies can crumble under the weight of justice.